according to the code, this is what I do. I assume that the white person, if he or she is able to be a racist, is one. That's an automatic assumption. If they are able to be one, then the person probably is one. But I'm not going to tell them that they are racist, because that would be name calling. But I will say that I suspect they could be one. And I'll tell any white person that who's able to be one. I mean, even white people that I've been around for years maybe, had conversations with and everything, probably visited their house. But if they would ask me directly, do I think that they're racist, I say, you probably are one. That's the way I see you. Because it's dangerous to think otherwise. Somebody's got to be a racist. And the chief weapon of a racist is deception. So a white person can fool you for years. They could be a racist, but you not know it, or you don't believe it on account of all the nice things that they do. But the person can still be a racist. Using the Pocahontas analysis, the white people, presumably, who were around Pocahontas, were racist in historical perspective. But she didn't think so, because they were so nice to her. But racists know how to be nice when it's to their advantage. They were nice to her so that they could take over her whole tribe. And that is still a technique that the racists use. And I tell white people that. I tell them that's why I always have to figure that they are racist until they prove otherwise. Now, how does a white person under the system of white supremacy prove that he or she is not a racist? There's no way to do it until the end of white supremacy. That's the criteria. And you tell them that. That's what I mean by having your words in place. When they ask that question, well, how can I prove that I'm not a racist? You say, Brian or Sheila, you can't. You can only prove it when racism no longer exists. So, if you want to bring about the proof that you are not a racist, you have to get busy and see to it that racism no longer exists nowhere on the planet. Because that is the criteria, and there is no other. Up until then, you are on the racist suspect list. Suspected by whom? By me. Why me? Because I'm a victim. And as a victim, I have the duty to suspect whoever I want to suspect, who is white, as being a racist. That's what I mean by the United Independent Compensatory Code feature. The United Independent feature of the code. So you don't have to ask another black person or somebody else, is such and such a white person a racist? You make that determination yourself. You owe that to yourself. And nobody is supposed to be able to take it away from you. I don't care if everybody stands up and says that Mr. Jones is not a racist. If you think that he's a racist, then he remains on the list. And you tell him that. And he might say, well, none of the other black people think that I'm a racist. Say, they're speaking for themselves. This is me. I'm a victim of racism. So I determine whether I think that you are one or not. And if I think that you may be one, you stay on that list until I change my determination, regardless of what anybody in the world does. That's the kind of code that we need, that we don't have. And I'm trying to bring it into being.